Hey guys, this is it. It is finally here. We are finally at the edge of the series American Horror Story double feature, episode 10. The future is perfect. Now, guys, this is the final episode of American Horror Story Part 2, Death Valley. I hope you guys enjoy all the past reviews that I have done, as well as some predictions that I really thought that was gonna made it to the final finale of the season 10. But I guess the connection that I predicted didn't really, I would say, come true. So today we're gonna break down what went down in this season final episode, and then we got one more video so we could break down what did we like about the season as a whole. Roll the opening credits. So guys, we followed previously on American Horror Story. After the episode of Blue Moon, we flash forward to President Nixon is now president. President Eisenhower has been basically overturned. Now he's not president anymore. His time has been up. And then we had President Nixon, who is now president. Now Nixon is basically arguing with his, I guess, secretary, as well as we could see Valorant Tor is also present, and he's discussing. He said everything that you guys have done right now is ruining my presidency, the Cold War, and I guess the other wars that was happening at that time. And Valorant Tor said that, well, just imagine having a pinch of a problem, but there's a way to fix that. This is why we here. So we flash forward to 1972, where we saw that President Nixon is basically still discussing and arguing with I guess Valorant Tor, as well as one of the other secretary. So this episode had its ups and downs. I really had high hopes for this. I would say, just to get out the way, I really had high hopes for this ending. Mind you, it was only 4 episodes for Death Valley, and the fact that they could have used the 4 episodes like at least an hour for each, so that way it could have fit in a lot of ties in, but I guess they didn't do that. So we continue by Valorant Tor basically discussing that the war is basically a distraction for the people to not figure out that more of their people are being missing due to the whole deal that they made in the previous episode. We followed that he basically started explaining, and I guess the secretary guy was like, he's right, Mr. Valorant Tor. And Valorant Tor was like, well, let's just know that we're basically doing our part to keep things under wraps, so that way that the public don't know what's really going on, since you guys made the deal. So he's now explaining that all the distraction that we've been seeing. So if you put this into political real life terms, is basically saying that due to the fact that there was all these war, it was a big distraction for the people and the public of the US to not figure out the amount of people that's going missing left and right. So Valorant was like, well, if you want to, change that, there's no way to do that now. Now that everything's already progressing the way it should. So there's no need for you to worry, except if you really want things to flourish. Then we saw Valorant was like, well, just imagine us as a person to basically explain how certain things should go around when it comes to public. We're basically blinding them from the truth, because if they do figure things out, things might get really out of hand. And President Nixon just started going off on Valorant and saying that, why did we even do this whole ordeal? I think if I were to disagree right now, it would have been the best way to get those people off my back, because now it's ruining his presidency. So Valorant was like, well, just take a breather and let's see what could be done. But in the meantime, we will keep the war as a distraction. And he said that by the time we'll get our first specimen, it'll be under 2021, which is what will be 50 years from then. And he said, no, damn, the Cold War is not gonna last 50 years. That's 50 years. He said, let's not think of it like that, but just know that we've been working diligently to basically make the perfect specimen hybrid. So Valorant just leaves the Oval Office area where the President Nixon was, and just left. And then in the meantime, he was going off. He said, what do you think we should do? I guess he was speaking to his treasurer secretary. He looked like he was about to cry or something, but it wasn't. He was just fixing something. And then when we get a closer look of what he was fixing, and he said, Mr. President, once I have time we could talk. I have to speak to my people. And then we get a flash forward in the mirror. We see that apparently the aliens are not the only people that's around. There's actually another group of species as well that's been living among the aliens as well as the humans, which is the reptilians, which I guess been being the competition with the aliens. And we saw that his secretary is basically among them. He's using the body as a vessel. And we saw that his thing was peeling off, so he had to fix it, so that way he could still appear like human, which was pretty disgusting and disturbing. And then his eyes just spliced back and forth. And then you saw the spliced tongue, which shows that he was a reptilian, which, after he finished doing that in the mirror, it's like he fixed his face back and he was like, okay, perfect. And then he just left, which was I feel as if this part, and then we flash forward 3 years earlier, and then we saw President Dwight Eisenhower basically on his, I guess, deathbed and coughing. I guess he got sick, and he been praying that he don't want to get healed for all the damage that he's going to be caused for generations to come. And Mimi was like, oh, don't think of it that way, it's a good deed that you did. At least you gave them technology. He said, no, I doomed the entire country by making this deal, and there's no way I can turn back on it. I don't even want to get well. That's what he said. And Mimi was like, oh, but I've been becoming more popular than the previous first lady. I even made people just celebrate their birthdays and have fun and, create more activities. That the only holiday that's left is I guess evacuation day, that she's been bragging about, that she want to make a major holiday. So she even make a little quilt symbol thing about that. And Dwight just laughed a little bit and just was like, I can't take this anymore. I might as well just die. And then next thing you know, he just started slowing down and just stopped breathing. And eventually we saw that President Dwight Eisenhower just died. And Mimi was just looking down and just gave him a kiss on the forehead, and Valentor appeared just to see. He was like, Mr. President, there's a way to help you live. And Dwight Eisenhower was like, don't bullshit me, because at the end of the day, you are the main reason why that my people are being hunted down and being destroyed, because you guys basically, it's like a new people that's moving to the neighborhood and they pushing the old people out. There's something at the end of the episode which I think it was very important, which I'm gonna cover and later on in the video. Then we flash forward again to 1972, and even more talk we started seeing what's being, so we kept having flashback and going flashback to like future flashback to explain what's been happening. And then Mimi was like, after everything that I'm about to say, just call me, she said something about deep throat, or yeah, something like that, you know. And she basically was like, I'm about to explain everything, because she's basically been the eyes and ears of the entire thing. Then we saw that they went back to the carrier place, and Mimi was like, okay, I think it's time for me to, I guess she calls herself to create like a way to die, so that way people could say that, you know, she basically fakes her death so she could live forever in the Area 51 where she met Calico. And then Calico basically wanted to be, they became best friends, I guess, with the time that they were there. And then they flash forward to present day, where we saw Mimi end up having color with the pink. And then Fada appeared and was like, what happened here? And those two guys before that were from the Ivy League, we saw that they died, and the aliens already gave birth and everything. And she made the other cops kill the other soldiers, because she said that she promoted them. And then she took the two pregnant people that were left and basically made them have a competition away, like whichever one of you guys that gives birth will be the person that carries the perfect specimen. Now she said that, you know, she started helping Jamie to like really you know, fix things and trying to, and then next thing you know, she just died. And it was so sad, because it's like, next thing you know, we saw that they took like this alien type of thing, and then they place it in the replacement of her head, which the body now becomes a reproductive machine to keep breathing special specimens, which at the close to the end to the episode, she basically become like a breeding machine, where she has to just keep giving birth. And from then on, they're gonna have to, Fada said she's gonna have to clone her again, so that way she could populate a generation. So every time she's going to die, they're gonna just repopulate her or regenerate or clone her, so that way she could just continue to give birth. Then we saw, flash forward, we saw Calico basically celebrating Miss Mimi Eisenhower's birthday, and then Valentor stepped back in, and she was like, so the deal was, you guys were gonna give us technology and you guys were gonna share pride. And then Valentor was like, no, we're gonna take over, we're gonna push you guys to the side, and we're gonna keep some of you guys around, but other than that, we're gonna be the ones that's gonna be taking over everything. So she basically felt betrayed, and she felt like she betrayed mankind, because she not only handed the aliens to us like a silver platter, now that she can't do nothing, she went to go see the special specimen, because she got a news that first in a generation of species now been created, a perfect specimen has been created. So she went to go see it. She said it was beautiful, but then again, the deal that in return, they're all gonna be killed based on the reason why that baby is born. And then she got shocked by seeing one of the previous attendants people that we saw in the flashbacks. She basically said that, you know, she's there for like a breathing machine and giving birth. And then Mimi was like, humans are not machines. They're basically, you know, we could do better. And she was like, I've seen how humans are. I've seen that humans could do nothing but get things worse. The only thing that humans are good for is basically to cause destruction. And Calico was like, there's no way for us to stop that. And then Mimi was like, please help me find a way to stop all this. If I kill the specimen now, they won't have time to repopulate. And then Theta just mind control her body and just stopped her. She said, I could see that you were lying. And then that important moment just hit me, because the way she explained that, especially back in the 60s or 70s, people that were born, you know, that racism was still going around. And the way she explained it, she said, you don't even share the, if humans could still be racist, but at the same time, you can't even share the room with your own kind. What makes you think that we're gonna be able to tolerate you? Especially, you can't even share your own resources, because you guys are too selfish of a species. So this is the reason why they're taking over. They feel as if we don't know better. We don't know when things are very good for us. We just use things because we see it fit. And then eventually she just killed Mimi. And she said that, you know, I think it's time to wipe the slate clean so we could start over. And then the episode ends there. Calico basically became like the mother to like help nurse the kids, the aliens, and then that's about it. That was the season finale. Like and subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.